Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a celebration of all video games, big and small, and indie games have been no exception, with series like Shovel Knight and Shantae getting represented through an assist trophy and spirits respectively. But it's the DLC rollout that has taken things to the next level. Alongside more mainstream icons like Altair from Assassin's Creed and Goemon from Mystical Ninja, we've got Mii costumes of Sans from Undertale and the eponymous Cuphead. And these are nice costumes, ones that actively try to emulate the character instead of just acting as an outfit of them. They even come with fancy music track. It seems fairly clear that Nintendo and its various indie partners have an investment in this, and it's easy to imagine at least one more indie character coming along for the ride over the next 2 years of DLC. And that's what we want to talk about today. We got a number of us on the Source Gaming team to give our thoughts on our most wanted indie Mii costumes that we would like to see added in the future. This includes the music track we would like to see with each one, so you know that these are the premium costumes we're talking about. This is in no way who we think is most likely, but rather a traditional SG choice. It's all our opinion and we would love to hear yours in the comments below. You'll have to use a little bit of imagination here, because instead of having all of us read out our lines individually, I'm just going to be reading what all the other staff members have written for me. This just makes it easier on everyone, and for the editor, who's probably going to be me. Yep, it turned out to be me. The Knight. Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's good. To be honest, this is the extent of my reasoning. But Hollow Knight's good. It's one of the major examples of the Switch's current place as a valuable, commercially worthwhile home for independent developers. It's big and successful and neat, staying prominent even in a crowded field. And even though I really don't think Nintendo cares in the slightest about using the DLC to advertise games they aren't either making or publishing, I suppose there could be a little something in there for the upcoming Hollow Knight Silk Song. So make a nice little sword fighter costume for the knight and put it in, along with one of the game's well-known boss themes, Hornet. May. Night in the Woods. Night in the Woods was released to critical acclaim on Steam in 2017, but it flew under many people's radars because it released just before other incredible AAA games of that year like Breath of the Wild and Persona 5. So it didn't happen to blow up as the other indie games on this list have. Though it didn't happen to achieve the same popularity and impact to the industry as much as some of the other lucky indie titles, it's still an extremely high quality game with a great impact on those who've played it. And since its original release, it's even come to consoles, including the Nintendo Switch in 2018. A Mii sword fighter costume with Mei's bat taking the place of a sword would probably make the most sense for her Smash representation, and including a mask of Mei's head to show off Night in the Woods' distinct character design, with its huge head and large eyes. This would work really well to represent the game's art style. For the music track included with this costume, including Die Anywhere Else, a song with lyrics that describe many of the central character struggles in the game, and one that's the first song you play with Mei's band, would be a great choice to pair with. Cadence. Crypt of the Necrodancer. Nintendo has worked with indie companies before to make new IP, such as with Snipperclips and The Stretchers, but it's very rare that Nintendo gives out their existing IP to indie companies. Yet, this is exactly what happened with the creation of Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda. That's a long name. This caused the series to become really popular amongst Nintendo's usual crowd, and elevated it in the indie scene. It also put it on Nintendo's radar, which means that it's entirely possible that it's big enough to appear in Super Smash Bros. Honestly, I'm surprised that Cadence of Hyrule hasn't had spirits yet, and I'm hoping that that's a good sign that Cadence could be a Mii sword fighter, using her shovel instead of a sword. It might be hard for her to be fully playable, as there would likely need to be some rhythm mechanics to it, so this would be the best chance she gets. Chris. Deltarune. While the full version of Deltarune is still being worked on, the Chapter 1 demo definitely received a lot of love from fans that played the game on PC and Nintendo Switch. With a connection that is seeming to grow between Smash Bros. And indie developers, I think it would be easy for Sakurai to return to a developer that he's already had invited to his house, Toby Fox. So with a relationship already established, I think Chris being included as a sword fighter with a Rude Buster remix would not only continue the lineage of interest in indie games, but also serve as a way to promote a game that isn't fully out yet. Brad Armstrong, Lisa, the Painful RPG. Honestly, the chances of this one happening are incredibly small. Lisa is far from a series for good boys and girls, and the thought of it or any of its dark and mature themes being introduced to Smash is ridiculous. Which is exactly why a Mii costume would be the perfect way to represent it. With the garb of the original game's main character, Brad Armstrong, and a wacky music track in Boy Oh Boy, players would be given a taste of the insanity to be found in the quirky RPG without Smash needing to allude to said dark themes in the game proper. Throughout Lisa, Brad uses his proficiency in martial arts to beat his foes into submission, making him a perfect match for the Mii brawler. Let's just hope there isn't any joy stashed in that poncho. Shovel Knight, Shovel Knight. This may very well be the no-brainer to end all no-brainers on this topic. Shovel Knight's enduring position in the gaming world for the last 5 years was enough to land the titular Man of Shovelry as an assist trophy in Smash Bros. Ultimate, and since the likes of Springman and Black Knight have had presence in both assist trophy and costume roles already, it's only logical to think that Shovel Knight could get added treatment as part of the Mii costume plus song bundles we've seen with Sans and Cuphead. Obviously, you're looking at a Mii Swordfighter costume, and what better song to add with him than Strike the Earth, perhaps the game's most iconic tune from the first level. Honestly kinda surprised that they haven't done it at this point, which probably means they're either saving him for later or simply can't. Hopefully, it's the former. Gris. While Gris herself doesn't directly fight in her game, she has a simple but captivating design and abilities that would translate well to the world of Smash. Yet, one could say that a stage based on her heartbreaking world would be more fitting. Despite that, this game not only has an outstanding visual art direction, but also a flawless score that goes from soft environmental tunes to heart-wrenching chants that would fit stages like Fountain of Dreams or Skyloft. If only we could choose any music on any stage. Commander Video, Bit Trip Runner. I think it's often forgotten that Smash Bros. For Wii U actually had the very first indie representation in the series in the form of a trophy for Bit Trip Runner's Commander Video. This series actually has a pretty long history with Nintendo, as both games in the Runner series have appeared on Nintendo home consoles, with the first title originating as a WiiWare exclusive. There was a point in time, in fact, when the visage of Commander was synonymous with Nintendo indie success. Commander Video also has a very distinct look, with cartoony proportions that make him perfect for the Mii brawler. If Sakurai and team could go the extra mile and give him a rainbow effect while running, he would be a visually stunning addition as well. The series itself has some absolute bangers, but I chose Blackout City as its upbeat, energetic nature makes it absolutely suited to a fighting game. And with that, we come to an end of this edition of SG Choice, and you might be saying to yourself, what about Shantae? Quote, the goose! Well, this wasn't all of our ideas. I simply picked out a few of our many ideas, and if you want to keep this indie ride going on, then why not head over to our website, source-gaming.com. We have a longer article of this very same topic with even more indie Mii costumes we would like to see, including suggestions from our wonderful Patreons. Speaking of, I want to thank the ones who took part in this idea. Our list of $5 plus patrons are on screen right now, but any of you beautiful watchers could have taken part here for the small price of $1. And there will be more projects like this in the future, so if you want your voice heard, then why not head over to our Patreon? A link is both below and on screen. But otherwise, you can help out for free instead by subscribing, liking, and sharing this video, as well as checking out the rest of our content if you haven't already. If you like what you see, then I strongly advise you to always return to the source.